text, again, Easter evening, the evening of the resurrection. Last week we had that evening event told through the lens of the Gospel of John. And today we have it from the Gospel of Luke. The same evening, a little bit different story. As you go on with this story, you see that Jesus does appear to the 11, or to those who are gathered there, and says, "Peace be with you." Some very similar things to what were said or recorded in the Gospel of John, but again, a different slant, a different kind of emphasis. This, the Road to Emmaus story, it's called. My older brother, has a picture. Maybe you've seen it. It's on his wall. He's had it there for probably 35, 40 years. And it's called The Road to Emmaus. It shows two disciples walking with Jesus, and it's very green, large trees with branches spreading over and shading the road, and just looks kind of idyllic. My friends, I don't think it was that way. Not just outside of Jerusalem. The road is probably very rocky and rough, and probably the trees were like shrubs. So, in our artistic imagination, we kind of blow things up sometimes, I guess you might say, into a fashion that is not quite the way it was. But things are similar. On that day, you see these two disciples, and they're totally engaged in conversation as they walk. They're troubled, they're discouraged, and yet they have had a word that said Jesus was no longer in the grave, and the angel report that he was risen. What was that all about? And so it says that they were in discussion. The word there, it says they were like throwing a ball back and forth between, catch, no, you take it. And they're having a very lively discussion. And who comes along beside them but Jesus? But their eyes are kept from recognizing him. And why or how that is, I don't know, but that is the case. And so Jesus says, "Hey guys, what's up?" And they say, "Well, don't you know? Didn't you hear anything about what's happened here in Jerusalem?" He says, "What's happened?" So it's just very casual. And they begin to tell him, Jesus, a strong and mighty prophet, we had hoped that he was the one to redeem Israel. What does he mean, to redeem Israel? Also can be translated to set Israel free. That, of course, is what they're hoping for. That Israel, that's the Jewish state or the country, would be set free and have its former glory as in the days of King David and some of the following kings. But no, one more great prophet has simply been crucified by the people in power. And so their hearts are heavy. But then Jesus kind of turns the table, and he begins to explain to them all the scriptures and from the prophets and from the law of Moses and from the writings, these things which pointed to the necessity that the Messiah not only liberate the people, but that he suffer first before entering into his glory. This was new information. They had to chew on this for a while. I think I got it, but I'm not sure. They probably were thinking, but their hearts were like those embers getting fanned, like breath being breathed on them. Like last week, Jesus breathed on the disciples, and their faith burst into flame. But they arrive, or they get close to this village of Emmaus, and it looks like the sun's going down, and Jesus is going to go ahead and leave them. But as typical of Middle Eastern hospitality, no, you stay with us tonight. We will be your host. And Jesus accepts their offer and goes in and sits down at the table with them at some point. And then things happen. Jesus, in the Gospel of Luke, 3 times, Jesus takes bread, blesses it or gives thanks, breaks it, and gives it to them. The first time was the feeding of the 5,000. And James Edwards, a great commentator on the scriptures, says that this time they were satisfied. The people were. The second time, when Jesus broke the bread and gave it, was at the Last Supper. And that time, they remembered Jesus. But this time, their eyes are opened and they see or perceive that this is Jesus in their midst. And then, bingo, like a flash, Jesus disappears. Like, what's up, Jesus? Why are you taking off? I don't know. Jesus had other fish to catch, I guess. But these guys, you can tell they are ecstatic probably, and they're going to go back and tell the other disciples what just happened.